There are managers who succeed because they have expensive squads. There are others who succeed because of luck. But there is one man who seems to have a mystical connection with the Europa League: Unai Emery. Every time this competition begins, rival fans immediately become nervous, because once Emery reaches the knockout stages, every other team's chances of winning suddenly feel smaller. Many football fans have even started calling the Europa League his personal competition, and honestly, it is hard to argue against that. By 2026, Emery had already won 5 Europa League titles with 3 different clubs, a record no other manager in modern European football has been able to match. What makes this story even crazier is the way Emery built his reputation. He was never the type of manager constantly coaching super rich clubs like Real Madrid or Cinquecento City. Most of his trophies actually came with clubs that were financially weaker than Europe's giants. Yet under Emery, those clubs transformed into tournament monsters. Sevilla, Villarreal, and Aston Villa all experienced magical European nights with him. Fans began giving him nicknames like Mr. Europa League and King of the Europa League. On Reddit, many even joked that UEFA should rename the competition the UEFA Emery League. So, in today's video, we're going to look at Emery's incredible journey of constantly winning the Europa League. The beginning of Emery's dominance with Sevilla. When Unai Emery arrived at Sevilla in 2013, the club was not yet considered one of Europe's elite powers. They often played well, but lacked consistency at the highest level. Emery arrived with a completely new identity: discipline, pressing, and a tournament mentality. His very first season immediately produced magic. Sevilla reached the 2014 Europa League final against SL Benfica. The match was tense and eventually went to penalties. Sevilla won, and Emery lifted his first European trophy. That moment became the starting point of a Europa League legend. Many people initially thought the victory was just temporary luck, but in reality, it was only the beginning of a level of dominance never before seen in this competition. What made that achievement even more incredible was the fact Sevilla were not filled with global superstars at the time. Emery maximized players like Ivan Rakitic, Carlos Bacca, Kevin Gameiro, and Vitolo into deadly weapons. He built a team defined by hard work and elite mentality. Sevilla's football became incredibly aggressive in European competition. They might not have dominated domestically, but in the Europa League, they transformed into something terrifying. Many opponents struggled to read Emery's tactical approach because he constantly adapted his strategy depending on the opponent. That was when his reputation as a European competition specialist truly began forming. Spanish media even started calling Emery a manager who was born for European nights. The historic three-peat that made the world fear him. If one title could still be called luck, then winning 3 consecutive Europa League trophies was clearly something else entirely. After triumphing in 2014, Emery led Sevilla to another Europa League title in 2015 after defeating FC Dnipro 3-2 in the final. 1 year later, Sevilla reached the final once again, this time against Liverpool, managed by Jurgen Klopp. Many people favored Liverpool because of their squad quality and the massive atmosphere surrounding the English club. But once again, Emery proved the Europa League was his territory. Sevilla came from behind and won the 2016 final 3-1. 3 consecutive titles made the football world finally realize Emery possessed something truly special in this competition. The dominance felt even more absurd because no manager had ever won the Europa League 3 years in a row in the modern format of the tournament. Sevilla became one of the most feared teams in Europe. Fans began believing that as long as Emery stood on the touchline, the chance of winning would always exist. Social media exploded with memes about Emery's Europa League buff. Even today, many fans still consider Emery's Sevilla one of the most iconic Europa League teams of all time. That success also elevated Emery's status into Europe's elite managerial category. Major clubs began monitoring him because they believed he possessed a rare ability to handle pressure in knockout football. Failure at Arsenal, but the Europa League curse remained. After success with Sevilla, Emery accepted a massive challenge in 2018 by joining Arsenal as the successor to Arsene Wenger. Many Arsenal fans hoped Emery would bring European glory because his Europa League reputation was terrifying. Those hopes almost became reality when Arsenal reached the 2019 Europa League final against Chelsea. If he had won, Emery would have secured 4 Europa League titles in just 5 seasons, but this time he failed. Arsenal lost 4-1, making it the only Europa League final Emery has ever lost in his managerial career. Even though he failed to win the trophy, Emery's reputation in this competition never collapsed. Many Arsenal fans admitted that without him, they probably would not have reached the final at all. After being sacked by Arsenal, many people began doubting whether he still belonged among Europe's elite coaches. But that is exactly where Emery's comeback story truly began. He chose a smaller club, Villarreal. Many viewed it as a backward step, but Emery saw Villarreal as the perfect project to showcase his greatest strength once again, European competition. And sure enough, within only 1 season, he made history again. Villarreal proved Emery truly was the king of the Europa League. The 2020-21 season became one of the most extraordinary stories of Emery's career. With Villarreal, a club without a massive European history, he once again reached the Europa League final. This time, the opponent was Manchester United, a club with a far more expensive and star-studded squad. Once again, many doubted Emery's chances. But as always, he became a completely different force in this competition. The final was dramatic and eventually went to a marathon penalty shootout. Villarreal emerged victorious, and Emery lifted his 4th Europa League trophy. That achievement made many Arsenal fans begin calling him the greatest manager in the history of the competition. The victory with Villarreal felt especially special because it showcased Emery's incredible ability to build an underdog mentality. Villarreal were not tournament favorites, yet they eliminated several major clubs along the way. Emery became known for his extreme attention to detail in preparing knockout matches. He studied opponents deeply and frequently designed different tactical approaches for each game. After the title win, many Arsenal fans even expressed regret that the club never gave him more time. On Reddit and social media, fans joked that Emery was simply destined for the Europa League. There was even a viral joke claiming any club with the word Villa in its name would automatically win if coached by Emery. Aston Villa and the 5th title that cemented legendary status. In 2026, Emery made history once again with Aston Villa. He led the English club to Europa League glory after defeating SC Freiburg 3-0 in the final in Istanbul. The title felt deeply emotional because Aston Villa had waited a very long time to win another major European trophy. Emery did not just deliver silverware, he completely transformed the mentality of the club. He made Aston Villa respected in Europe again. With this victory, Emery officially collected 5 Europa League titles, the most in the history of the competition. His record surpassed even many legendary managers. What makes it even crazier is the fact Emery won those trophies with 3 different clubs: Sevilla, Villarreal, and Aston Villa. UEFA described his achievement as extraordinary and unprecedented. Many European media outlets now genuinely call him the king of the Europa League. Rival fans have even started believing that once Emery reaches the semifinals, every other team's chances automatically decrease. On Reddit, fans joked that UEFA should rename the trophy the Emery Cup. Another viral joke claimed every club with the word Villa would instantly become champions under Emery. But behind all the memes and jokes, one fact remains undeniable. No manager in football history is as strongly connected to a single competition as Unai Emery is to the Europa League. Unai Emery may not have won the Champions League like Pep Guardiola or Carlo Ancelotti, but when it comes to the Europa League, no name stands above his. 5 trophies, 3 different clubs, 6 finals, and a reputation as Europe's ultimate knockout specialist have turned him into a living legend. He proved that success does not always require the richest club or the most expensive squad. Through tactics, mentality, and elite match preparation, Emery transformed the Europa League into his own personal stage. And now the question is, will Emery's record ever be matched, or will the Europa League forever remain linked to his name? So in your opinion, does Unai Emery deserve to be called the greatest Europa League manager of all time? Write your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more football content and stories from around the world.